New York City is pushing forward a far-left agenda, and Mayor Zohran Mamdani has tapped a hardliner from the Democrat Socialists of America to run the office to protect tenants. Her name is Sia Weaver. A resurfaced video shows how Sia Weaver felt about private property just a few years ago, 2021.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
Let's finish all of our sentences in a question.
Yes, Harris?
I'm Ron Burgundy. I've never lived in New York. I mean, you're not allowed to be an individual here. You can't even live alone, apparently.
Well, so I reached out to Harmeet Dillon about this, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department, because this has got her attention, and they're paying attention to what they're trying to do here in New York City. And this is what she told me. Let's scroll down here. She told me that the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ is on high alert as to the radical agenda promised by Mayor Mamdani, much of which is at odds with our federal constitution and civil rights norms. We will not hesitate to take legal action to protect the civil rights of New York City residents. So they are ready to pounce the Trump administration. And so that might be the saving grace for New Yorkers against some of this crazy nonsense.
But what can they do other than pull federal funding? Not that that's not a big deal, but I mean, they can't come in here and force Mamdani to change his laws.
Well, no, but if it runs afoul against some federal law, then, you know, Paul would probably be able to speak better to that. Paul, I'm going to kick that over to you since it's a
so
you're right, Lisa.
I cede my time to the gentleman.
How does that work? And also, I mean, while you're making it work, if you can, what is Mamdani's next step likely?
At some point here, he's going to have to reveal, or at least recognize, I should say, that he's got to start talking to his lawyers. Because at the end of the day, you are part of America, all right? And when you run completely afoul of the Constitution, you are not going to win, and you're going to lose real fast. And when you say things like, we're going to tax white neighborhoods more than other neighborhoods, or we're going to confiscate private property, there's a couple of federal laws that kind of obtain there, Guy, and they're revealing their inexperience, and they're really revealing it early, huh? And all I can say is this: I don't want to be ruled by anybody who is indulging in upspeak. All right, no more of that. All right, that's not really very.
Every sentence is a question.
No, all right, no.
Used to drive my dad crazy. It's like just talking a statement. Emily, it's interesting because it's almost like he wants to be ruggedly individualistic in his politics.
Well, touting the collective warmth that we're supposed to agree with. Exactly. It is. Look, I feel so exhausted emotionally, and I shouldn't this early in the year by this. Because we talked about ad nauseum. We warned people, we warned our fellow New Yorkers about what would happen. And I'm so patently disheartened at the lack of people showing up at the ballots, even though record highs, but it was still a demoralizing low percentage of people that live here. And that we voted this person into office, and that he has now since sort of collected what I see as emblematic of our academic indoctrination. Just a bunch of young people sitting in her apartment with her shirt falling off her shoulder telling me about land ownership.
Well, you know what? Mamdani said that also in his inauguration speech. He said the same exact words, What they're doing right now, Harris, is they're going after who they consider the worst landlord, Pinnacle Group, because they have a number of apartments that have not been taken care of, no heat, no air conditioning. But they got to look inward because the city is the worst landlord. NYCHA is the worst landlord. Year after year, they cannot get the heat on, the air conditioning on, the lead painting right, the mice situation under control. And then on top of that, they are warehousing thousands of empty apartments.
Do you remember, you know, we talked about where Maduro is staying, right? Sightline of the Statue of Liberty. Remember the blackouts, a week-long blackouts? They were without heat and food. They can't even get the prisons right here. You are right. And now we have entrusted into children that upspeak these kind of large policies that have zero experience in actual running this city of this magnitude. That is why everyone has fled. It is frightening. This is the tip of the iceberg.
I'm Ron Burgundy. That's like the most famous upspeak that I can think of. We're outnumbered in a moment.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.